Welcome, good citizens of St. Albans. Welcome to this fine building, built in the year of our Lord, 1637, supposedly. We are here to honor one man, Frederic Kitton. And so I would now like to hand over to Professor Tim Boson, who, as you all know, is Professor of Anthropology and History. Professor Tim Boson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Town Crier. Difficult to compete with such a comedy act. Loses his clangor, and then makes a good joke about anthropology. Now, welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. As he said, I'm Tim Boson, and I'm chair of Blue Plaques St. Albans. And I'm pleased to announce this is number 14. 14 plaques we put up around the town, and soon, for citizens and guests, we will have a Blue Plaque trail leaflet just coming off the drawing boards, and I'm looking at Roy Bellamy here, who's done the wonderful design. So soon we'll actually have a trail to take you around the 14 plaques, which will be great. Now, today we are honouring Frederic Kitton. And can I just thank everybody who's been involved with this. In particular, it's delightful to have Sheila Cox here today. John Cox, many of you will remember, did a lot of research on Frederic Kitton, and if you want to see some of the work that he's done, go to the St. Albans, Hertfordshire, and Architectural and Archaeological Society. I can't even remember it after all these years. SARHAS or Ark and Arc to many of you. So go and have a look and see what he's done there. I'm going to hand you over to one of my colleagues now, Robert Pankhurst, who's done a lot of work for us on this particular blue plaque. So over to you, Robert.
Hold it.
It's on, so.
Can you hear me? Good. Yes, Frederic George Kitton, to give him his full name. He usually signed himself as F.G. Kitton, but we couldn't squeeze the George. We couldn't squeeze the George into the plaque very comfortably, so Frederic Kitton it is. Was born in Norwich, and he became an engraver and illustrator for various illustrated publications in London, where he worked for 10 years. He travelled a lot, and he was very attracted to old buildings, and he liked St. Albans. And in about 1883, we don't know exactly when, he came to live in St. Albans. In 1890, he was married, and soon after that, the couple moved into their residence in Pray Mill House, which is a house about 3-4 miles out on the Redbourne Road. So he didn't actually live for very long in St. Albans itself. But he took a very active part in St. Albans' cultural and literary life. He was a member of the Architectural and Archaeological Society, wrote various pamphlets for them on different buildings in St. Albans. He was an instigator of the Hertfordshire Arts Society, which I believe now is the St. Albans Arts Society. And he became curator of the County Museum. So he was very much involved in the history. He was also a national expert on Charles Darwin, who'd only died in 1870. And he wrote a great deal about Darwin, biography, and his works, and they were very much appreciated as almost as standard texts for quite a long time. Unfortunately, Kitton died young. He was only 48 as a result of an operation, gastric operation, which didn't really work out. But he left a huge legacy to us of his illustrations, because he became passionate about the old buildings in St Albans at the time. We're talking about the 1890s. And the words that were used in those days were the antique and picturesque buildings of St Albans. And his illustrations are quite well known, largely popularized after his death by his wife, who started marketing them. I've actually brought a copy of one with me, which I'd like to show you from a distance, obviously. This is his drawing of St Albans Market, done in the late 1890s. And it illustrates two characteristics of his work, which I think are wonderful. First is that they are very finely drawn. They are almost architectural in their appearance, rather than over-imaginative. They are also, I believe, fairly accurate. This particular scene, you can see exactly as it appears here, apart from the buildings that have changed from up by the town hall. And so I think leave us a very good record of what the older buildings of St Albans were like before, unfortunately, many of them were knocked down. And the other thing about his work, for me, is that he was quite good at drawing people. There are a lot of people who can draw buildings but are not so good with the people, or vice versa. You can see here that there are a lot of people in the picture, and they all look real, and it gives the whole thing a really lively sense of a market day in St Albans. So I think the other important point about Kitton is that his love of these old buildings led to him becoming a conservationist. In 1899, the building here was bought by Boots the chemist, and they were going to demolish it and put something else in its place. And Kitton started a petition to save the building. It was publicised through the Herts Advertiser and got enough, something like 600 signatories. And with that, he was able to persuade the head of Boots not to demolish the building, but to restore it. So it's largely thanks to Kitton that it's here today. And I think you'll agree that it's one of the most iconic buildings that we have in St Albans. So I hope you will agree that Kitton is a very deserving character for our Blue Plaque scheme, and that this is an appropriate place to put it. Thank you very much.
Sing-a-ling! Sing-a-ling! Sing-a-ling!
Oh, do that. Yes, thank you.
Dropped a clanger! Never mind. I would now like to introduce the Right Worshipful, the Mayor of the City and District of St Albans, Councillor Jamie Day!
Thank you very much. Very hard to follow that. It's a great pleasure to be here on behalf of the Council and people of St Albans to open this plaque. Two people I think we need to thank. One is Mr. Kitton himself for having the foresight to preserve this fantastic building, which, as Mr. Bankhurst says, it is now an iconic vision of the city. Whenever you see a picture of St Albans, generally it's the Abbey, the clock tower, and this building behind us, the Gables. So it has, over the years, become an integral part of our vision of St Albans. And secondly, to thank Professor Boatswain and the Civic Society and the Blue Plaque Initiative for the Blue Plaques. I'd never heard of Frederic Kitton before, so I've learnt something today. I think it's fantastic that we can honour these people who have contributed to the development of our city by honouring them with a plaque in this way. And that's the 14th, and I believe there'll be many more. So fantastic to have that and the trail, so that it actually brings our history alive and reminds us living today of those people who helped develop the city into the force it is now. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for giving up your time and being here and supporting us. I'd like to thank all those people too who donated. Blue Plaque St Albans is a voluntary organisation. We rely on donations not just from organisations but also from individuals. So without you and your donations we would not exist. Now, we will be putting up more blue plaques. 14 is not the final number, and we do have a list. You'd be surprised how many interesting and significant people have lived in St Albans, and I've learnt so much through the blue plaques. Just like Mr. Mayor, I didn't know anything about Frederic Kitton, and it's really good to know that he saved this wonderful building. For some of you, this may interest you even more than the blue plaque. You may not know, but inside this building, there are two ghosts. One is an elderly man leaning against the fireplace, usually with a pipe in his hand. I may be making some of this up, so don't take it too seriously. The second ghost lives on the top floor. You look up there, and she is an elderly lady with a spinning wheel. The story is, if you look at her, you are compelled to jump out the window. As far as I know, we have not had any cases of anybody jumping outside the window. But it's a good story. And we think also there may be some other hidden treasures there. It is a wonderful building, has been said, and thanks very much to Frederic Kitton for saving it. Before you all go, and my thanks to the town crier, to my colleague Robert Pankhurst, and particularly the mayor giving up his time. So many thanks again for you coming. Look forward to seeing you at the next blue plaque. I can't tell you exactly when it will be, but I can tell you we've got a couple nearly at fruition. We'll nearly be there in a couple of times. So many thanks again. Bye, everyone.
Well, I have been your town crier, previously known as a bellman, and now known by me as a no bellman. But there we go. I'm a city guide, and our ghost walks start tonight, leading up to Halloween. So if you want to go on a ghost walk and find out more about this place, then go onto our website and you'll have a fun evening. Bye for now. You may want to go.